The United Nations envoy to the Central African Republic, Margaret Vogt, has urged the UN Security Council to consider imposing sanctions on the Central African Republic rebels. The militants are being accused of severe human rights violations, including rape, maiming, recruitment of child soldiers, and forced marriages. Vogt also told the council that a neutral security force should be deployed to contain the current state of lawlessness in the mineral-rich state. The Seleka rebels seized power on March the 24th, toppling President Francois Bozize. Rebel leader Michel Djododia, a former civil servant, has been named interim president by parliament and charged with leading the chronically unstable country to elections in 18 months. But let's now get more on this, and we're joined by CCTV's Nathan King live from New York. Nathan, can you give us some more details about how the UN envoy Margaret Vogt described the situation in the Central African Republic?
Yeah, let's use her own words, shall we? Margaret Vogt telling the UN Security Council that the Central African Republic, both in the capital Bangui and elsewhere, is in the state of, quote, total anarchy, and there is a total disregard for international law. You talked about rapes, you talked about forced recruitment of child soldiers. There's looting, also targeting by part of the Seleka rebels of non-Muslims. So Christian communities very, very worried as well. But lots of looting, not just of rich people's homes, they were told, but also the general population as well. There is also reports that the whole infrastructure of the state, not that there was huge amounts anyway, has been destroyed by the rebels. We're talking about courts, prisons, schools as well. So a state, as Margaret Vogt said, of total anarchy.
Nathan, it seems like it's quite a dire situation over there in the CAR. What action is she urging the UN Security Council to take, and what's been the response to that so far?
Well, I mean, you talked about targeted sanctions on individuals that are basically going to, are responsible for these sorts of crimes. That can bring pressure from the UN Security Council on people not to do it, to say, look, there's going to be no impunity, you will be brought to justice. But, you know, it's a decision made here in New York that has very little effect immediately on the ground in the CAR. She also is advocating for a neutral security force to go in and try and stabilize the situation. Now, the form of this, of course, is a big question. Remember, back at the reconciliation talks before the March coup, there was talk of a coming together of CAR society to create some sort of stabilization force. That has not happened. The army has basically disintegrated and is fleeing because of reprisals from the Seleka rebels. So there's a lot of focus, obviously, on a potential UN peacekeeping force. That's going to take time. Ban Ki-moon has a lot of questions about it, a lot of focus on enhancing the African force that's there, Miko Pax. But remember, that has been authorized to go from 700 to 2,000 members. But is that going to happen? South Africa has a commitment to go back in after losing so many soldiers in the coup. But when will that happen? It is a big question. And the acting interim prime minister in CAR is actually calling on the French to intervene militarily, as they did in Mali. And there seems to be no appetite for that right now. But given the lawlessness on the streets of the capital and the horrible situation, including growing hunger across the country, the international community needs to be doing something, and something fast.
All right, CCTV's Nathan King joining us there from New York. Thank you.